If I lost everything and had to make $1 million in the next 12 months, this is exactly how I would do it. You don't need money, you don't need skills or a huge team, and all you need to do is follow these 3 steps. And if you don't know me, I'm Sabri Subi, I'm an investor on Shark Tank, and I've generated my clients over $7.8 billion. And I have actually been in this stage multiple times where I have lost absolutely everything and had to build from scratch. And it all starts with step number 1. When most people think about starting a business, right? They think about, I need to have this brilliant idea. I need to go into a market that is completely uncontested. Or they look at what's trendy on YouTube, like what all the gurus are talking about as the hottest opportunity to start. This is completely the wrong way to approach it. So when I think about starting a business, I really look at 4 key things. The first thing would be, does this business have the potential to be a $10 million business? I don't want to go into it thinking it's going to be a $1 million business. That's the first tick. The next thing is growth. Is it expanding or is it shrinking? I want to be in a market that is exploding in growth. The third thing is timing. Am I early? Am I late? Or am I right on time? And you want to make sure that you are timing something that is already growing up, but is about to explode. And the fourth thing that I would look at is competition. I want to enter markets where money is already changing hands. Outside of these 4 criteria, what makes a business model attractive? Well, the first things first is high margins. I'm looking for businesses that have a minimum of 80% gross profit margins so that you can have enough money to invest in ads and do all the things that you need to do to be able to scale this business to $1 million plus. The next thing is reoccurring revenue. I do not want to be in the order business. I want to be in the reorder business. Either I'm selling a once-off service, then I constantly need to basically go out there and sell every single month just to survive. And the next thing that makes starting a business attractive when you're starting from absolutely zero is that there isn't a huge capital requirement to get started, i.e. I don't need to have truckloads of money to begin this thing. And the last point is that it can scale without me investing more time into it. Otherwise, I'm just creating a job for myself and not a business. And the way that I look at this is I'm looking for prospects that have a bleeding neck. They have an immediate pressing problem that they need a solution to. The greater the pain, the higher the price that you can charge to solve that problem. All right, you might be saying, Sabri, this all sounds good. This is all like, yes, it makes sense, but it's all theory. So what is the actual business? Well, if I had to start from absolutely zero right now, I would start an AI implementation business. I would be looking at cash-rich verticals. Now, you might hear AI implementation and think like, man, I don't have any skills. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to do anything. Well, the beauty about this business model is you don't need to have any money to get started and you don't need to know how to code. And I'm going to show you exactly how. All businesses right now are suffering from what I call AI guilt. They're all kind of like using ChatGPT to reply to emails and look at contracts and that kind of stuff, but they're not deeply integrating it into their business to either replace team members or entire functions altogether. The AI market is currently worth $190 billion and is estimated to be worth over $4 trillion by 2033. This is enormous and it is not going anywhere. The first thing that you need to do is that you need to find businesses that are cash rich, that are making money, so not startups, and you need to find a solution that's going to save them money, time, or make them money. Now, the key thing here is you do not want to sell the solution, you want to sell the outcome. You don't want to basically be like, yo, I can implement AI into your business. Nobody wants that. What they want is the outcome that implementing AI into their business is going to give them. What does this actually look like? Well, for example, you could reach out to accountants that offer bookkeeping services, and you could be like, you're currently paying a junior bookkeeper $65,000 a year to go through to the accountancy software and to do bookkeeping for our clients. And you could offer them an AI agent that would integrate with their accounting software, and it would physically go through and do all of that bookkeeping for them completely automated. Instead of paying this bookkeeper $65,000, you can get it from renting my AI service for $2 or $3 grand per month. And that's just on bookkeeping alone. So how do these businesses actually get to $1 million? So let's break down the money math. First up, we're going to have an implementation for these services, and we're going to charge businesses anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 in order to set this up. And then we're going to go out there and get 7 new clients per month, paying us on average a $3K retainer, which is going to be $21,000 in new revenue per month. It's going to be very easy to go out there and get 30 clients paying you 3 grand per month, which is over $1 million in revenue. And so with this money math, we're not even factoring in the implementation fee. We're just gonna put that aside and say, hey, that's just gonna be the cost of customer acquisition and running out there and actually getting the clients, which brings us to the next step. Now you might be thinking, Sabri, why AI implementation? I see all the e-commerce bros on fucking Instagram talking about drop shipping. Why don't I do drop shipping? Well, first of all, drop shipping requires you to be an absolute master at media buying because you are operating off wafer thin margins. Or what about starting an e-commerce brand? You know, all the Shopify bros talking about building these big e-com stores, right? All these e-commerce people are always cash poor. They need to get into inventory and forecasting. It's much, much more complex than people would make you to believe. Or why not start a digital marketing agency? The waters are bloody with competition right now for digital marketing. And the reality of it is that you have to be an absolute master because the concentration of competition is so high. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I'm seeing AI pop up all over YouTube. Everyone's talking about this. How am I gonna stand out? Like, isn't everybody already gonna be doing this? The reality of it is that there are over 200 million small to medium-sized businesses in the English-speaking world alone. Pioneers are the ones that are lying face down with arrows in their back. So we do not want to be a pioneer. Instead, we want to be a settler. We want to go out there and settle in a market that is already popping. But here's the thing, we can talk about starting a very attractive business all we want, but none of that shit means anything if we can't actually go out there and get clients. Everyone has a business idea, but not everybody has a business because they can't go out to the marketplace and have a repeatable process that they follow to get clients. And largely that is predicated off them having a shit offer. The offer is the tip of the spear. It's what makes everything work. It makes what's the funnel works, makes your ads work, it makes the economics work in your business. And if you get the offer wrong, you can't get the media buying and the ads and the funnel right. And that's step number 1, finding the business. Which brings us to step number 2. Now, when starting a business, this is where everyone gets it wrong. They have what I call a vanilla offer. It is weak. And what you must understand is that a transaction takes place where value exceeds price. So it's not about being cheaper. It's about giving more value to your marketplace so that the price feels irrelevant to what it is that you're charging. So how do you build a Godfather offer? So it all starts by sitting down, making yourself a double espresso, and writing the most outrageous offer that you possibly could, that it would literally be stupid for your prospect to say no to. Most people do it the other way around. They start with, what is an offer I can deliver on? And then when it doesn't work, they try to then put lipstick on a pig and they try to start adding things to their offers. And it's like this Frankenstein process and it never results in the outcome that you want. So instead, you start with the best offer and then you weaken that best offer to a place that you can actually deliver on the promise. Let's think about what a shit offer looks like. I help businesses implement AI and I charge $3,000 per month. That is shit. So what does a good offer look like? I'll build you an AI system that will save you 20 hours per week, and if it doesn't work, it's free and it only takes 7 days to set up. It is super specific, it is risk-free, and it's an absolute no-brainer. So what happens when you have a Godfather offer? Well, first of all, you don't need to have the most highly trained salespeople in the world because a compelling offer is 10 times more powerful than a convincing argument. So people rock up onto calls, they are very, very clear of what the offer is, and they show up ready to buy. You need to answer a few objections, but you don't need to be an absolute master salesperson and use all these crazy closing techniques in order to get a client. Because the offer is the thing that's moving the most freight and doing all the heavy lifting for you. And the last thing that a Godfather offer has is risk reversal. In every transaction, risk is present. You are either asking your prospect to burden all that risk, or by having risk reversal in your offer, you are burdening that. And you should be able to burden a percentage of that risk. Otherwise, you're just not a good operator. This just makes it completely frictionless for the customer and you get way more yeses, and your business in the long term becomes much more profitable. And that's step number 2, the Godfather offer. And that brings us to step number 3. So let's talk about what does get you paid. I've already told you that we don't need money to get started. So We can't be running ads or doing any of this other stuff. What we are gonna do is we're gonna use human capital instead of financial capital to go out there and get clients. You wanna go directly to people that have the problem that it is that you solve. And the way that we're gonna do that is by using cold outreach. So we wanna build a list of dream prospects. So there's two ways that we can do this. You can either use software like Apollo, you could use in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, where you're basically manually going out there or using software to compile that dream list. Once you've got that list of dream prospects compiled, then you wanna send 400 emails per day using a cold outreach service like Woodpecker or Instantly. So you might be thinking, isn't cold email dead? No, it is not. Most people are using generic, absolutely flavorless cold email. So the thing that you wanna do is you wanna make it personalized, you wanna have humor in there, and you wanna look like a human. The job of a cold email is to open up a conversation. It is not to close the conversation. So you wanna be using short, quirky emails, you wanna have animated GIFs in there, some humor, right? If you can get them to laugh, you can get them to buy. And then that opens up the loop, and then you can continue that conversation. But we're not just gonna be relying on, sending 400 cold emails a day. This is the shotgun approach, and it definitely works at volume. However, we're also gonna be using a different weapon in our arsenal, which is a sniper rifle, AKA pipe bombs. All a pipe bomb is a Loom video. It is a Chrome extension that you can get that allows you to record your screen and your face at the same time. Each Loom video is like a customized video sales letter that you are sending directly to the prospect. And what I would recommend is sending out 10 pipe bombs per day, where you're bringing up that prospect's website or you're showcasing something visually on the screen, whether it's an outcome that you've got, a problem on their website, or you're bringing up their LinkedIn profile, something that is an identity trigger. So when they look at it, they know from the jump that this is personalized to them. These things have like an 80 to 90% watch rate. And you also get a notification once the prospect has watched it. So when you're thinking about, okay, well, what do I say in this Loom video? What is the structure of it? The way that you want to think about it, it should be 80% value and 20% pitch on what the next steps are. Because the thing that makes a pipe bomb so valuable is that you are proving to somebody that you can help them by actually helping them. So say for instance, you're cold outreaching to accountants. Hey, I've gone and checked that you guys are currently hiring bookkeepers, and I can see that you're paying the salary range for those bookkeepers is between $60,000 to $80,000. I have created an AI agent that I am now using to help accountants so they don't need to hire another $80,000 employee. And look, this is how it works. This thing is going through, it is manually finding payments, and it is assigning these based on these parameters and these rules that I've given it. And it allows you to automate the bookkeeping service for your client. I would love to show you how this thing works and give you a demo to show you specifically how you can apply this to your business. And it is not even a fraction of what you pay to hire, train, and retain these fine folks. All you need to do is reply with a thumbs up emoji and I will send it through to you. Super specific. It goes exactly customized to how you can help them solve the problem. And it proves to them that you can help them by actually helping them and showing them how the solution works. It's not about keeping this all behind the curtain and not showing them. What does an actual day looks like in building a business to $1 million and doing this? So you want to start your day off with what I call an hour of power. So you spend 1 hour in the mornings doing cold emails. It might be taking your data list, putting it into Woodpecker or Instantly, or manually doing this yourself. But you want to do this for an hour every single day. Then in the afternoon, you want to dedicate 1 to 2 hours to recording 5 to 10 pipe bomb Loom videos that you're going to send to people. And not everybody that watches them is going to reply. And so then what you want to do is either record a second pipe bomb the next day, telling them that you can see that they've watched them, provide some further value and make another ask. Or if you're feeling really ballsy, is just pick up the telephone and call them and say, hey, I saw that you checked out the video, and open up the conversation that way. So what does the conversion funnel actually look like? How many replies should we be expecting? So let's just say that we do 400 cold emails a day, 30 days in a month, that's going to be 12,000. If we get a 1% response rate to these cold emails, that's going to be 120 replies. And if we're bringing on 5 to 10 new clients per month and we're charging them $3,000 $30,000 per month. That's the money math of exactly how we build $1 million business from scratch. Now you might be thinking, but what about ads? Like, why wouldn't I just run Facebook ads? Well, first of all, you need money to do that. We want to validate our offer by doing organic cold outreach. Then once we've got that, we're going to turn that into a paid ad engines that we can scale well beyond $1 million. Then you might be thinking, well, I'm just going to do what all these other people say. I'm going to start creating organic YouTube content. I didn't create a piece of content and put it on YouTube until I was doing over $10 million in revenue. Where cold outreach, that gets you in front of prospects with a bleeding neck immediately. After 90 days, you'll literally have hundreds of warm leads coming in, your calendar will be filling up, and you will be repeatedly and predictably bringing clients in. And that's step number 3, getting clients. That is the exact process that I would follow step by step to build $1 million business in the next 12 months. The only question now is, are you actually gonna do it, or are you gonna keep watching videos on YouTube? So don't just sit here watching this and nodding your head and say this all makes sense. Actually go ahead, follow this plan, and let me know how you go in the comments. And if you liked this video, you're gonna absolutely love this one that I put together on the lazy ways to make money with AI. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.